Let me tell you straight up how things really stand between the United States and Puerto Rico, because this relationship has been going on for over a century, and it's messy, full of benefits for some but deep unfairness and colonial vibes for many others, which makes the whole topic super sensitive and worth talking about openly. It all started in 1898 during the Spanish-American War when the United States defeated Spain and took control of Puerto Rico, along with other territories. The deal got sealed in the Treaty of Paris that same year, where Spain just handed Puerto Rico over to the U.S. without asking the Puerto Rican people what they thought or letting them vote on it, and that's exactly why so many call this a colonial takeover right from day one, with no real say for the island's residents. Then, in 1917, the Jones-Shafroth Act made Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens, which sounds good on paper, but it came with big catches, because Puerto Rico is still an unincorporated territory, meaning folks born there are citizens. They pay some federal taxes, serve in the military when drafted, but they can't vote for the U.S. president unless they move to a mainland state, and they only get one non-voting delegate in Congress, so they live under laws made in Washington without full political power, and that second-class setup fuels a lot of frustration. On top of that, economic control has been a sore spot, especially with the Merchant Marine Act of 1920, known as the Jones Act, which forces all goods shipped between U.S. ports, including to and from Puerto Rico, to use ships that are built, owned, and crewed by Americans. Critics say this jacks up prices for everything imported, makes life more expensive on the island, and blocks real economic freedom. Fast forward to the huge debt crisis hitting in 2016, when Puerto Rico was drowning in billions of dollars of debt. The U.S. Congress stepped in with the PROMESA law, creating a financial oversight board picked by the federal government to basically run the island's finances. Many Puerto Ricans saw this as Washington taking away even more local democratic control over their own economy and treating them like they couldn't handle their own affairs. Today, the big debate rages on about what Puerto Rico's future should be, with people pushing hard for different paths. Some want full statehood to get equal rights and representation. Others want complete independence to break free from U.S. rule, and plenty are okay keeping the current Commonwealth or territory status, but multiple referendums have happened, and the issue is still stuck unresolved with no clear end in sight. Bottom line, the United States has governed Puerto Rico since 1898. Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, but the island doesn't get the same political rights as the states, and arguments about colonialism, economic restrictions, and true representation keep burning strong because these aren't old history, they affect real lives every single day. The real story of Puerto Rican ancestry, a deep mix of native, Spanish, African, and American roots that ties them to America. Let me put this out there bold and clear, because people need to hear the unfiltered truth about Puerto Rican heritage and how it connects straight to America without any romanticizing or hiding the facts. Yes, people from Puerto Rico have seriously mixed ancestry today, and that includes American blood right alongside native Taino, Spanish, and African roots, which makes them part of the American story in a real tangible way, and history is the biggest reason for all of it. This mixing didn't just kick off when the United States took over in 1898. It had been happening for centuries under Spanish rule, but U.S. control definitely added a strong new layer to the cultural, ethnic, and family blend that exists now. Long before any American flag flew over the island, Puerto Rico was already a melting pot shaped by three main groups that came together over hundreds of years: the Taino indigenous people, who were the original inhabitants living there for thousands of years before outsiders showed up; Spanish colonists who arrived starting in 1493, when Columbus claimed the island for Spain; and Africans who were forcibly brought through the brutal transatlantic slave trade to work plantations and build the society. These three groups intermarried, lived together, fought, survived, and created a unique Puerto Rican identity with genetic and cultural roots in Taino, Spanish, and African heritage that most Puerto Ricans proudly claim today as their foundation. Then came 1898 and the Spanish-American War, when the United States defeated Spain and took Puerto Rico as a territory connecting the island politically, economically, and socially to the mainland in ways that changed everything. Americans started moving there for jobs in business, military bases, and government positions. Puerto Ricans headed to the U.S. mainland for better opportunities and education, and over time marriages and families formed between Puerto Ricans and people from the States, adding that American layer to the mix. The big shift happened in 1917 with the Jones Act granting U.S. citizenship, which made travel back and forth way easier. No passports, no barriers, so huge waves of migration created strong Puerto Rican communities in places like New York City, Chicago, Orlando, and many other cities. Generations later, those families kept mixing not just among themselves, but with other Latinos, African Americans, white Americans, and more, creating even richer, diverse backgrounds, while still holding tight to Puerto Rican identity. And here's the key point: Puerto Rican isn't just about DNA or one race. It's a powerful cultural and national identity built on shared language traditions, food, music, history, and pride, even when someone's ancestry includes indigenous Caribbean Spanish or other European, African American, mainland U.S. or other Latin American roots. They're still fully Puerto Rican because that belonging runs deeper than blood. In simple terms, yes, many Puerto Ricans today carry this beautiful, complicated, mixed ancestry that started under Spanish colonialism, kept evolving under U.S. rule, and grew through constant migration and connection to the mainland, making them undeniably part of America's diverse fabric while never losing what makes them uniquely Boricua. Love always, Maria D.C. Santiago.